All right, guys. So as you know, we've been working on our project and we want to continue to fill out our table. And so what I'm going to do today is go through an exact example of what you're going to be doing. So the first thing, as you notice, is that I have my ingredients listed and I have it for my original recipe of 4 servings. What we're going to do right now is go through how I'm going to find for 1 serving and 3 servings. And I'm only going to do a couple examples and then you will be able to do the rest on your own. So the first example we're going to look at is the orange juice. The first example we're going to do is the orange juice. Then we're going to do the sherbet as well as the lemon lime soda, LL soda. So the first example we want to look at is the orange juice. And for 4 servings, I have 12 ounces of OJ. So, what I'm going to do is first off, write the given rate. I'm going to write the rate as it was given to me. So, I have 12 ounces of OJ for 4 servings, feeding 4 people. Well, I want to know, how much am I going to need for 1 serving? Well, notice if I'm going from 4 servings to 1 serving, I'm creating a what? A unit rate. So we should know that if I'm creating the unit rate, I have to divide by the denominator. So I'm going to divide by 4. Well, if I know I divide by 4 in the denominator, I have to divide by 4 in the numerator. So 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. So that means for 1 person or 1 serving, I need 3 ounces of orange juice. So now that I know that information, I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to put 3 ounces because that's what I need. All right, now we said the next example we're going to do is the lemon lime soda. Now we're going to take a look at the lemon lime soda. So in the given information, I know that I have 2 liters of lemon lime soda over 4 servings. And I want to know, what am I doing for 1 serving? Well, let's remember, I'm creating a denominator of 1. So I must be creating a what? A unit rate. And I have to divide by the denominator. Or if I recognize that the only way to get from 4 to 1, or one of the ways to get from 4 to 1 using multiplication or division, is to divide by 4. Well, what I do in my denominator, I have to do in the numerator. So I'm going to take 2 and divide it by 4. Well, I have to realize that my division symbol can also be written as a fraction bar. So I'm going to have 2 over 4. Or I know that if I have 4 pieces and 2 of them are shaded, this also represents 2 out of 4. I can also say 1/2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my table. And in the lemon lime section, I know for 1 serving, I'm going to need 1/2 liter. All right, and then our last example, we want to look at the sherbet. So I have 1 quart of sherbet for 4 servings. So what I'm going to do is, on my paper, I'm going to write my rate that is given to me. So I have 1 quart for 4 servings. I'm trying to figure out, how much am I needing for 1 serving? Well, remember again, if I'm going for a denominator of 1, I have to create my unit rate, which means dividing by the denominator, dividing by 4. Well, that means what I do in the denominator, I have to do in the numerator. So I'm going to divide by 4. Well, 1 divided by 4. Notice how the given number 1 is larger than what I'm dividing by. So my answer will not be greater than 1. So I know that I have 1 divided by 4. If you think about it like money, you have $1 and you want to share it amongst 4 people. Everybody gets a fourth of the dollar or 25 cents. So that means I'm going to go back to my table, and in that sherbet row or 1 serving, I'm going to put 1/4 of a quart. Now I want you to think, what are you going to put here? Based off of what we did to each number, we did the same thing to each number. Same operation and same number. That is what information you are going to put right here. All right, once you figured that out, we're now going to look at 3 servings. Well, now I want to know, how do I get to 3 servings? I have 4 servings, I have 1 serving, and now I need to figure out how to get to 3 servings. Well, we're going to use the information given in the table. And here's the key thing. Once I know my unit rate, I can figure out any piece of my puzzle. So if I look at the given ratio for orange juice, I know for 1 serving, I had 3 ounces of orange juice. Well, now let's look. If I now want to know how much for 3 servings, oh, well, how can I get from 1 to 3 using multiplication or division? Well, I can multiply by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to multiply by 3. 3 times 3 gives me 9 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my table. And right next to that row, I'm going to write 9 ounces. Let's do a more tricky one. Let's do those liters of lemon lime soda. So I'm going to write out my rate. I have a 1/2 liter for 1 serving. I have a 1/2 liter for 1 serving. Well, now I want to figure out, what do I do to figure out what I need to do to get to 3 servings? And remember, I'm using equivalent ratio, so I can only use multiplication or division right now. Well, how do I get from 1 serving to 3 servings? How do I get from 1 to 3 using multiplication or division? Well, I'm going to multiply by 3. So I'm going to do the same thing in my numerator. I'm going to take this fraction and multiply by 3. And here's a quick refresher if we forgot. I'm going to take 1/2 and I'm going to multiply by 3. Well, Ms. Garner, there's no denominator here. Well, we have to remember all whole numbers have a denominator of 1. And then I can just multiply straight across. 1 times 3 gives me 3. 2 times 1, don't forget that fraction bar. 2 times 1 gives me 2. Boom, there's my answer. I need 3/2 of a liter. So I'm going to go back to my table. And under that lemon lime soda row, right next to it for 3 servings, I'm going to write 3/2 of a liter. And let's look at this last one together. I have my sherbet for 1 quart for 4 servings. And then in this 1 serving column, this is where I'm getting my information from. I'm going to take 1/4 of a quart for 1 serving. And I want to figure out, how many quarts do I need for 3 servings? Well, let's look. If I'm going from 1 to 3, I'm going to multiply by 3. And what am I going to do to this fraction right here? You're right. I'm going to multiply by 3. So again, as I multiply my fractions before, I'm going to take 1/4 times 3. Remember, my 3 goes over 1, and I'm going to multiply across. So I have 3/4. So that means for 3 servings, I need 3/4 of a quart. So then I'm going to go back to my table. And right here in this row, I'm talking about sherbet. I'm going to put 3/4 of a quart. And then I want you to think, what did I do to each of these servings? How did I get them? What operation and number did I use? And that's what you're going to put right here. Now it's time for you to go to your recipe project and continue working to fill out the chart.